determine the range of the power.
What
so
the
like
heck?
Like a Power Ranger.
Oh my gosh. Power Ranger. What is it?
Go Power
Go
Rangers.
Power Rangers.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, everybody? I'm Skye.
I'm Maddie B.
This is the Toasty Podcast. Today is the toastiest episode we've ever done. We're going to talk about cancel culture. We'll lay out some of the recent examples, and we aim to explain the effects of such a prevalent trait of American culture. You'll be surprised how many people don't actually support such a society. We're about to get toasty right after this quickie from your boy. What's up, guys? I'm Skye. I'm the producer of this show. We try very hard to be unbiased. Well, I do. And that doesn't mean everyone on the show will be unbiased. But right now, we need your support. I'm doing t-shirts, and I'm selling them on Bonfire. You'll see the link in our show notes. But let's just get back to the show right now. We talk cancel culture. All right. Let's get this. Be able to edit all that crap, so I can change it back. But obviously, I don't know how long it's going to take. You know?
I think the music is perfect too.
Oh, the type?
The music's like spot on.
Cool, man.
It's like just exciting enough. It's upbeat.
Right?
Good stuff.
Nice. So here we are.
Yeah.
Really, I guess we need to talk about like what even is cancel culture, because
Or outrage culture, or I guess do
outrage
you wanna
culture,
lump it all into
freaking
one
mob.
thing?
What is it?
Yeah,
you know,
mob rule. Like that's
mob
a
rule.
classical term for it.
Is it?
I would think so. I mean, think about it. It's what it is. It's everyone getting in a frenzy about something somebody said whenever in their life. You know,
Yeah.
or
I
did.
mean, yeah. I guess according to, let's look at dictionary.com. I don't really know if they are always accurate. Let's be real. But cancel culture refers to the popular practice of withdrawing support for, quote-unquote, canceling public figures and companies after they have done or said something considered objectionable or offensive. Cancel culture is generally discussed as being performed on social media in the form of group shaming. And you know, it's absolutely just so contradicting, because the same people that might be against a company or a person for something they said that's offensive, and they will shame them out of their career pretty much, would be the exact same people that might say internet bullying is wrong.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
You know? And there's a lot of contradictions happening, I think, in our society today anyway, besides all this crap. But this is one of the main things that's happening right now. It's accelerating.
Yeah.
2019 was crazy. All these people were just getting, it was like literally.
2018 was like, whoa, it's getting rocky. 2019 was like, dude, this is crazy. 2020 is just absurd. 2020 is like, what is going on?
Absolutely. We have too many things to worry about, I think, than to really get nitpick some small things. But, I mean, some of it might not be a small thing, I guess. The way I kind of would word it is, if you don't want someone's content, you don't have to get the content. I don't like the news, but I can't cancel the news.
Right. It's
So-
out there. It's going to be out there.
Yeah.
Especially in the age of the internet. Like, it's everything. There's going to be opinions on everything, and everyone's going to know that opinion that you put out there.
I mean,
If they want to know it, or if you're popular enough.
yeah. And even Obama literally quotes from him saying about cancel culture. He's this idea of purity, and you're never compromised, and you're always politically woke, and all that stuff. You should get over that quickly. The word is messy. There are ambiguities. Oh man, I was not an English major. Holy crap. People who do really good stuff have flaws. People who you are fighting may love their kids and share certain things with you. That's what he said. And it was like, he's essentially saying,
find common ground.
You have to find common ground, and you can't always be, doing that. He went on later in the article to talk about the fact that cancel culture is essentially casting stones, and that is not a way to change anything.
Exactly.
And he's right. And I'm not usually a left guy, really, but he is in this case. He is. He's right.
Mm-hmm. No, and this is one of the times I can count on one hand where I've agreed with President Obama on anything.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
So-
even I'm like, yeah, that seems like a reasonable person and a
Yeah,
reasonable
he's
way to
just
approach things.
logically thinking. Well, maybe it's because he's not in front of millions of people having to make decisions now, so he can just be a freaking normal human being.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
exactly.
it. I don't know.
Like, I like George W. Bush a lot more after his presidency than
Right, and we
during
don't.
or
Exactly,
before.
because they don't have to. They're not like on the
They're not politicians anymore.
guillotine or whatever.
Yeah.
CNN responded to that by saying the rise of cancel culture, particularly on the left and particularly on social media, is one of the defining hallmarks of our culture in the post-Obama presidency. You say something wrong, you tweet something people disagree with, you express an opinion that is surprising or contradicts the established view people have of you, and the demands for you to be fired, defriended, or otherwise driven from the realms of men quickly follow. And that says something to me that even CNN is kind of agreeing with Obama on this too, of course.
And I was going to say,
You know?
the one thing I would disagree with that article or that section of the article that you read was that it began during post-Obama. No, it was happening during the Obama presidency for
It
sure.
was, for sure.
Remember that dentist that shot Cecil the Lion?
Oh, crap.
That was like one of the first people that got canceled.
Yeah.
His whole dentistry had to get shut down.
Yeah.
They were putting signs up on his office front door. Saying this is the guy that shot that beautiful lion. Like, I don't agree with what he did necessarily. I'm not opposed to big game hunting or anything like that, but he shot Cecil the Lion. What are you, stupid? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. There are some instances where big game hunting actually is a necessity for some
Oh, for sure.
like tribes and things like that.
Yeah, when I was,
but not.
speaking as someone who went to Africa big game hunting, I can tell you that it supports the local economy 100%. It's not like you're giving all the money to one person and then they are rich. You know what I mean? There was a lot of locals working at the, I guess the hunting lodge that I
Mhm.
went to, and yeah, you're supporting a lot of local people when you do that. So. But yeah, he shouldn't have shot that line for sure.
Right. But
big
yeah,
mistake.
of course not.
But at the same time, I don't think he should lose his whole livelihood. His family probably had to change their freaking name and everything.
Mhm.
Like, that's too much.
right.
His whole family suffers. It's like that's not fair to his family. He made one mistake and you ruined his whole life. No.
So,
no.
One
I totally
one
respect
mistake that's
An egregious
quote unquote
mistake.
objectionable or might be considered offensive.
Yeah.
It's not a mistake where it's a law and you broke it, so your whole life is ruined. It's a
Yeah.
mistake where, because I'm kind of comparing, right? So like,
Yeah, that's a good
if
way to
if
do
you
it.
do
It's-
something completely like a felony and you're in jail for a long ass time,
that's the
and
justice
then you
system. That's the court.
right,
You're
and then
talking
you
about
try to
court
get a
of
job.
public opinion now.
Hard to get a job, right?
It's a real court.
And so you're in, yes, exactly. But you're almost in this weird, like, limbo with cancel culture where they're the court, and the only answer for any of their freaking hearings is
Guilty.
guilty, you're fired, and you have to change your whole family needs to leave.
Even that dumb lady in Central Park that yelled at that black bird watcher. The lady was walking her dog, and the black bird watcher, the guy who happened to be black and was a bird watcher, was bird watching, and he's like, "Can you get your dog on a leash, please?" And they get in an argument. And she's like, "This black man is attacking me."
What
She calls 911 and is like, "This African American man is attacking me physically." And he's obviously just like standing there with his phone, just like, "What are you doing, dude?"
Yeah.
Anyway, that lady got fired from her job, like totally doxxed on the internet. Just brutal.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, she's like a bigoted jerk, but
Right.
I
You
don't know,
can't
she
just
deserves to be
absolutely
fired for
destroy
that.
every jerk out there.
Yeah.
Because then now cancel culture people are the jerks.
What if that jerk what if that racist like lady jerk happened to be really good at accounting and she was an accountant and she like, was just like a whiz with numbers,
Yeah.
no pun intended. Whiz, grand wizard.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, you didn't have to put them together to make it.
Kind of a stretch. Sorry.
Yeah, but even Andrew Yang, like
What
the
did he
guy,
say?
our boy with the universal basic income that we talked
That was
about
like one of
earlier
our
on the
first
show.
episodes,
First
dude.
episode of the show, universal
Oh
basic
my
income.
gosh.
Check that out.
Yeah, throwback.
His idea or whatever. He was running for Democratic president, and he said we need to move past it. He was talking with Gillis, the comedian, and he was pretty much canceled because he said something that was offensive in one of his comedic, lines.
Okay, comedians like
Comedians are like Dave Chappelle, right? One of the funniest guys I watch,
uncancelable.
straight up.
Yeah.
And he was the only comedian I've heard so far that was like, no, this is ridiculous. And he just kept moving.
I've heard who was it?
Because Kevin Hart had to apologize at some
Hart.
point.
I feel bad for that guy.
Yeah, he went through a lot, dude.
Who was the that bald ginger
The bald
comedian?
ginger.
Louis C.K.
Oh yeah, C.K. Yeah, Louis C.K.
C.K..
Yeah, he went through a lot as well.
Yes.
And there were a lot of accusations
he just had a
made.
lot of jokes that went way too far.
Yeah.
And in bad company. That's my interpretation of the situation, at least.
And yeah, I'm just surprised. Andrew Yang was like, we need to move past it. And then he said, I believe that our country has become excessively positive and punitive. That was wrong. Punitive and vindictive about remarks that people find offensive or racist, and that we need to try and move beyond that if we can.
Yeah, and it's really one-sided too.
Particularly in a case where the person is, in this case, a comedian whose words should be taken in a slightly different light. And it's one-sided. It is always, we say you're wrong, so you're wrong. Like I said, it's always guilty.
Yes, but I was going to say it's always one-sided, and it always, if you're a Republican, they're going to try and go after you. If you're a Democrat, they will always try and protect you. Look at Ralph Northam in Virginia. He's the governor of Virginia. He was in either blackface or a KKK outfit. He can't remember which one for his yearbook photo. And he's still governor. The lieutenant governor was credibly accused of rape. And no criminal charges were brought in the long run, I don't believe. And he's still lieutenant governor of Virginia. Both Democrats. And Roseanne Barr gets on Ambien, sends out a stupid, veiledly racist tweet because Valerie Jarrett's like a quarter black, and that's who she was talking about. It's Obama's senior advisor for like all 8 years. She was basically like the president behind the president in some instances. She said Valerie Jarrett looks like somebody from Planet of the Apes. And I don't think she meant it as like a racist thing, but obviously there's racial connotations.
Well, yeah, clearly,
you
right?
can't be saying that about anyone. Like it's not cool. But she was on Ambien. She had all these excuses. Okay, Roseanne, and she's a comedian, right?
Right.
So, and then Kathy Griffith, she got canceled and dropped from a lot of sponsors.
But even still, like you slip up that one time,
yeah.
and you say that thing, and you literally, I know the feeling. Obviously, I've been in the situation where I say something and I'm like, that was clearly not what I needed to say. And you immediately know it. You immediately have this feeling. You immediately are like, oh,
oops,
crap.
sorry.
And you're like, dang it. And it's literally foot and mouth. They have a freaking term for it because you know what it feels like.
Exactly.
So I cannot imagine.
But
I don't think people are just. There are some people that are ridiculous and they are mean and they are just, spiteful and they could be racist. They could be intentionally doing all that stuff. But these people, the public figures that are being canceled, I don't know their hearts, but I don't think they're intentionally trying to do any of this stuff. And
exactly.
They're
trying to push boundaries, and I think we need that for sure.
Sure.
And I think outrage culture, cancel culture is just like an extension of safe space. So that makes me uncomfortable. I got to get rid of it.
Right.
And I just don't subscribe.
You can't
to that
you can't just not watch it. You can't just not, partake in it. It's immediately, it has to be just completely gone off the face of the earth. And I'm not sure.
Yeah. And it's not like I want Ralph Northam to be thrown out of office, but if they're gonna if that was a Republican, they'd ask for his resignation for sure. And I just want everyone to be held to the same standard. That's all.
Right. Yeah, I had one comment on my Facebook that was literally just said mass culture is toxic. But then the next sentence right there, he said mass culture is toxic. Cancel religion.
Like,
so I'm not sure.
You just contradicted yourself completely.
I'm not sure. I am not going to be against the guy, okay? But I was very confused at his comment. That's all I can say there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some examples of cancel culture right now, recent. First one I've got, Jimmy Kimmel.
Well, he wasn't. That's the thing. He was on the Man Show. He did all sorts of blackface, did all these black impersonations. Comedian, right?
Sure.
Uncancelable. Because he's a bleeding heart leftist, dude.
Oh, that's where you're trying to. Okay, the connections here.
Yeah.
Cardi B, of all people, I would not normally talk about Cardi B. She's not even like I'm not a fan of her music necessarily.
Yeah.
But I'm not. I don't know how much she's been grinding. Maybe she is working hard for what she's doing. I don't know.
Seems like it.
She seems like she is. She used to be a stripper, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was being told to cancel herself by a lot of people, a lot of people, a lot of her fans.
What for? What'd she do?
Because of rumors, not even facts, right? That she had a secret, but obviously not too secret, Instagram account made in order to roast other female rappers. And raptresses, if we're trying to be trendy.
I'm not doing it.
Well, okay, whatever. Her response is not too surprising. She literally was like, she practically told her followers if they don't like it, they can leave. In an Instagram story, and that was to literally 70 million followers. That's how many followers. 70 million followers on Instagram. She did a little video, and she was like, "You guys got to get a grip," basically, right? She said it in her own words because I don't really. You know what?
Do your
Screw this. I've got it.
Please.
No. I can't do that. But I will pull this up real quick.
Okay.
So people made this ridiculous lie of me on Twitter. I'm glad I pulled up all the receipts and debunked all of it. It's crazy the time and energy people put in to try to destroy you, but this was just ridiculous. It proves to me, though, that I intimidate anybody that has any hate towards me, that they will find any possible way to break me. You can't break me. Bring up my past and everything I said. You can't break me. I will be here. I will not run away from social media. I will not be discouraged of my work.
Good for her. I wish everybody that was being canceled says that.
The freaking title, My Cancel Party Story. You know? It's like,
that's awesome.
Dude. And honestly, like I said, I've never said I'm claiming to be a fan of Cardi B, but I definitely appreciate it when they might stand up to this.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the exact opposite is Jenna Marbles. And she's the next one.
And that's the thing, is Republicans and conservatives and even moderates are so... Moderates on the left and right are so scared of this, scared of the mob rule, that they will cancel themselves at this point. Yeah. It's like suicide.
And people are saying she's amazing for it. So
it's so sad.
It sucks because she might be amazing for it. Like, I don't know how she is as a person, but it also sucks because it's going to throw down this precedent for the rest of the mob.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's a YouTuber. If you guys don't know, 20 million subscribers about. She started doing videos when I was like in high school, like 2011, 2012. This is her like startup. And she just posted a video on the 25th of June called A Message, stating she's sorry for old content she has created, and she removed a lot of old videos, 2011, 2012-ish. That's like 8 years, 7 years.
8 or 9 years.
From her channel. At first glance, this might be a good thing, but in reality... The way I put it, my take on it was you're taking away the growth of any content creator so no one will know where they came from because no one's going to see it.
Right.
So they don't know who she is really now.
And like that's a picture in time. Like if you took videos of what people said in the 1960s and the 70s, versus what roughly the same socioeconomic group of people are saying now,
right?
They're going to be totally different. You know what I mean? Whether it's, no matter what they're talking about.
That's just how it works.
Yes,
you grow,
it's
you become a better person, you become a better person. But becoming a better person doesn't mean that I want to delete my past necessarily.
Exactly. That's part of the whole statues thing too. It kind of bleeds into that. It's like, do you really want to take down that statue? I mean, Condoleezza Rice, I mean, I have mixed feelings about it for sure. I'm not really sure which way. I say leave it up to a local vote for sure. You can't just be tearing down statues. It doesn't.
You definitely need to vote about it.
Doesn't work like that. But leave it up to the people. That's what I say. But you had Condoleezza Rice saying that no, she likes the Confederate statues to remain up because when she walks by with her children, she stops and teaches them about what happened. Or it may not be a Confederate monument. It may be something else. But she stops and teaches her kids about it.
Right. The history behind it.
Exactly.
Now, same thing goes for like Aunt Jemima, right? That's gone now. Now, I'm not saying it shouldn't be gone. It's definitely a weird, like an icon that represented something wrong. But what they could have done is just been like, all right, guys, we're still making freaking bomb syrup. We're just going to change the freaking logo.
I think that's what they're doing.
Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
I thought they were just going to get rid of the whole thing. Done. Psh, gone.
You can't just stop selling syrup.
Because you still love syrup. Who doesn't like syrup, dude? But in our society, right, it'd be organic and special or something.
Oh, dude. You know what's funny? Is I grew up on Aunt Jemima, right? I mean, I injected it into my veins every morning for breakfast. And
wow.
That's why I'm so sweet.
Yeah.
I tried like real maple syrup, and it's not good at all. It's
real maple, like Canadian?
Yeah, like
Canadian.
Canadian-y. No, it's not nearly as good. In my opinion. I mean,
I'm there. It's not sweet, obviously. It's not as sweet, of course.
It's still sweet, but it just has like almost like a smoky, woody flavor to it.
Well, it came out of freaking trees, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
But here's the thing. Let me lead this back into the quote that really hit home with me from Jenna. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to offend anyone. I just want to have a good time. And I'm not having a good time right now. That's literally what she said. And it was like,
that's sad. Oh,
crap. And you're a content creator. Why do you do it? Why do we do this? Why do we create this podcast? And it's fun and it's informative. And I just want to spread, good stuff to everybody. And if I slip up and say something wrong, oh, my bad. But guess what? I'm still gonna do the podcast.
Yeah.
And that's just where we're gonna go with that. Same thing happened to Logan Paul, right? He was a kind of an idiot back in the day, and he was a vlogger at the time, just like Jenna, and he stumbled upon the suicide forest in Japan because it's kind of a tourist attraction anyway. Right. And he was showing people, and he actually stumbled upon an actual guy that was hung, and that would freak anybody out.
Of course,
but for him, he recorded it, and it was not good that he did that. And I would say I agree. Maybe it wasn't good, but people were like, "You're out." Well, he's freaking made a comeback. So I don't think it's an end-all, be-all necessarily, but I also don't know if it should happen.
Maybe it just takes time.
Gillis is still a comedian. He's still doing shows in New York and stuff. And Logan Paul now has a podcast. Shout out if you want to link up.
So it almost depends on like what your social or literal crime is. Because look at Kevin Spacey. I mean, he was canceled, but kind of for good reason,
it's
right?
Weird stuff,
Bill
right?
Cosby's obvious, like, everyone,
99.9%
of people.
Even Epstein, but even Epstein couldn't get like charged. Yet we have Kevin Spacey and Bill Cosby almost without the trial even ending canceled.
Yeah. Kevin Spacey's never charged with anything.
Never. Okay, so it's just
he was ever
right. So he never even went
to
trial.
Investigated though.
He just canceled. He's just gone.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a similar situation because Epstein was a quote unquote like child molester guy, not child molester, but it was borderline.
He was a pedophile.
He was a pedophile. 18, 19-year-olds that he was like basically.
Well, 18, 19, that's fine. That's just liking them young, I guess.
But he was paying for it. Yeah, anyway.
14.
14, yeah. So the documentary on Netflix, if you guys want to check it out.
Yes.
Epstein Stories, Epstein Files. What is it called?
The Epstein Files, I think.
The Epstein Files.
Like that.
Yeah, anyway. Basically, he got away with this stuff in the late 2000s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
Throughout the 2000s. And meanwhile, we just cancel Kevin Spacey. We're just like, screw this. You're out. And it's an interesting thing to me.
That is, I mean, it's interesting. That's only 2 years.
He's not in a public eye. Is that why? Because Epstein isn't on a show. Epstein isn't an actor.
But he had connections. It is super well connected,
right.
Dude.
He did, for sure.
And the thing is, when you have connections, like that, then you've got other people's secrets that they've given you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the fact is, there's 20 plus more very well known people that I would guarantee that have been canceled, just because they, did what they did on accident or whatever. And it's the very progressive left social media presence, almost every time. Mm-hmm. And that's just the fact. I'm not either way. Yeah. I mean, even CNN literally admitted it, and they said it's mostly left presence.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going to happen here, but as usual in these circumstances, the squeakiest wheel gets the grease. Yeah. The squeakiest wheel gets the grease. Mm-hmm. And
another thing too is Facebook. Think about all the ads that are dropping from Facebook because they don't monitor offensive language,
right,
as strictly as Twitter does.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and even our company that we work for right now is not doing ads on Facebook anymore.
Really?
Because they decided that there's no help from Facebook to keep bad comments away and just hate speech and stuff. Mm. That's literally what they said in the email. Mm. That's crazy.
I wonder how Facebook stock is doing after all this.
I'm not sure. It's still in the 200s, I guarantee it. But I've heard a few people actually get irritated about the Jenna thing, and they are mad that she would even do such a thing because it's as if she's given into it. And maybe she has given into it.
She has, for sure.
But to the mob, right?
And that could be. I mean, if you're giving it to the mob, of course the mob appreciates it, and of course people that agree with the mob appreciate it.
If I was in her shoes, and I had 20 million followers, I don't know what I would do either. Because on a personal level, that crap can end in suicide.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, I hope she's getting support. Like, I hope she's getting support.
And that's exactly what
family or fans, like, because like, you're right, I could totally.
I had a very changed, like, kind of perspective on it. Literally after I watched the Kevin Hart documentary on Netflix, it changed like a lot. And I know it was made by Kevin Hart. I get it. So he could probably sway the documentary how he wants to sway it.
Right.
But he definitely answered things like that would probably condemn him in public eye on the show, on the documentary, like the way he was just being honest. And that made me think, okay, maybe he didn't really care. He was just trying to show people what really happened. That changed a little bit of how I think about it. And on a personal level, yeah, it would definitely be super freaking hard. I'd say I would keep going with the podcast because podcast is not that much of a public eye thing. I'm not in front of an audience, unless we do a live cast, which that'd be cool someday. But I don't know. People just generally they have a lot to talk about, and when they have a lot to talk about, there's a chance they're going to say something wrong, and that's just how it's going to work. Yeah. I don't know. I just think lines are being crossed on a daily basis from all sides, and even though I try to have information that's unbiased, I'm quite sick of it.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, and I'm probably guilty of this too, is a lot of people right now are being very reactionary and emotionally reactionary, and they're not really thinking issues through slowly.
Right. Yeah, the logical. Where's the logical side?
I was watching the Bill Gates documentary on Netflix.
Dude, we are all into docuseries on Netflix, dude.
Oh, Bill Gates makes you feel.
I've watched it though. Bill Gates
he makes
awesome.
you feel like you're half a person and he's like 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's a superhuman.
Now,
but real quick, I was gonna say he goes off into that cabin, for a week at a time and just sits and thinks and reads without TV or anything.
That's awesome, right?
We all need to do that for 10 minutes a day. Just
dude, at least.
Down. That's kind of what I do on my way home.
Quiet time, right?
Yeah, sometimes just turn the radio off in the car and just think about my day, think about driving.
Meditation is real, and it actually helps, and it is a proven thing.
For sure.
And, I mean, why do you think, like, monks living that way, actually living it out, don't get angry? It's not because they just had some switch. They worked at it.
Exactly.
And it is definitely something you have to work at, and it takes meditation, definitely. Mm-hmm. And, for Bill Gates, in this case, I love the guy. He seems like an awesome dude. He does a ton of stuff philanthropy-wise. And he is like 10 people. On the flip side, you end up hearing, again, things about people like him that you would never believe or whatever. But there's never any like proof of that. Like what I can prove is that, well, like he was behind, you hear rumors and crap, conspiracy theories behind him being in COVID or him being behind some diseases or whatever, because he said it a long time ago that there would be pandemic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Right? But he's also said before that we are our worst enemy, and apparently that was taken offensively. But we are our worst enemy. Humans are our worst. We are the worst enemy.
We're a super predator.
Prime examples.
What do you think,
are pretty clear right in front of you. Turn on the freaking news and you'll see it.
Cancel culture and
right?
just people attack. Yeah, exactly.
I just feel like at some point someone is going to have to stand up and we're going to have to hit a middle ground. Just like Obama said. Literally, I'm agreeing with him so much. We're going to have to hit a common ground somewhere.
I agree with you, but I don't think the more and more time goes on, the less and less confident I am that that's going to happen.
Correct. And I'm not necessarily saying I'm confident that it would happen, but with any relationship, you have to find compromise, and that won't happen, I don't think, in this.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the divide's been getting worse. It's getting worse faster now. Because I think I think President Obama and President Trump did very little to bring the country together.
What do you mean?
I think we're headed for a civil war for sure.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. What do you think that the divide leads to?
It's going to be a very... And
you're talking about the divide between right and left, I guess?
Yes,
obviously.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's not going to be a fight over a specific issue. It's going to be a fight over the value set of the country, which is a much more extreme issue than slavery, in my opinion. I mean, slavery is one issue. States' rights is two issues, kind of. It's are we a confederacy or are we a federalist society?
Dude, we're already fighting that now with states saying you can't come into their state from other states.
Yeah,
like that's supposed to be like straight up constitutional thing that you can go anywhere in America.
Pulling someone over for having out of state plates is definitely a violation of, probably the 10th Amendment.
And so you're at this state. Sure. I can't remember which state. I think it was New York. I'm going to assume New York. Georgia, Florida. Not Georgia. Florida, Alabama, some other states south can't go there in New York right now because of COVID, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of the surging. Which, by the way, death toll still goes down. Mm-hmm. And...
Death toll, that's what I'm saying. The death toll is going down or staying the same, and the cases are rising. So
more people in general are being tested.
More people are being tested, and those being tested are recovering. They're not dying.
Right.
The people that are getting it and dying have already done so. Or it's going to be this certain segment of the population, and that's just going to stay constant throughout this whole thing. And the people that get it is going to do this, all over the place. But the people that die from it is just going to be this kind of sliver of the population, the most vulnerable, like I've been saying. It's just it's almost an inevitable, unfortunate reality.
Sorry for the tangent, but that stuff, everyone's talking about that crap. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So we think it'll lead to a civil war. Is that what you said? You think? I mean,
eventually, because if you look at the civil war we've already had, if you look at the presidents that were before Abraham Lincoln, it's they were actually not very good all-around presidents. I think Obama, there were certain things that he was good at, and Trump, I feel like, is good at a lot of things as far as being president goes. But he's extremely divisive, obviously. He's probably the most divisive president we've had in my lifetime, for sure. If you look at George W. Bush, Clinton, H.W. Bush, even Reagan, they all had approval ratings in the 60s, except for George W. Bush, when they left office. Obama was like in the mid-50s maybe, but most people liked them, liked the job they did, felt like unity was fairly good. But I don't feel like President Obama did enough to he did too much to flatter his base, and was too divisive. He didn't use as harsh a rhetoric, obviously, as Trump, and Trump only flatters his base and only attacks his enemies, which is even more. It's going to cause an even more stake in the ground kind of divide. Sierra and I have actually lost like two really, really good friends because they're liberals. That's literally the reason we lost those friends.
What?
Because they disagreed with us on such an extreme level politically. We've been friends for 4 years, 3 or 4 years.
Are these the friends that I met?
Maybe
at the New Year's party.
Yeah,
a year
I think
ago?
so. Yeah.
At my random friend's house?
The guy was there, I think. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wow, man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Anyway,
But
sorry. You guys don't know anything about that, but whatever.
But yeah, so I've personally lost friends just
Yeah.
because of our political differences, and it's like,
wow.
whoa. Like I can be friends with anybody. I don't care what your politics are. We can have political rants all day long, and then go get a beer at the bar later. And be cool.
Right, and you'd be all right with it, right? Well, that's kind of why I
And
try to
that was our relationship.
hang back,
until these kind of riots started happening, and Sierra kind of made her opinion known. My fiance Sierra is black, and she's a black conservative.
Sure.
Which is a big no-no,
Apparently.
So
got to cancel Sierra.
Yeah,
exactly. Like what?
Candace Owens is getting just all these crazy racial comments about.
Is there a way? Is there a way?
Gross.
As a content creator, for us to get around any of this, or do we literally just have to push through it? Like,
I think that's a question for the audience to answer.
Yeah. How would you get around it as a creator? That's definitely an audience question.
Yeah, for sure. My quick opinion is you got to push through it. I think I've made that pretty clear. You can't give into it. You got to push through it. You got to make your opinion known. You got to stand up and fight for what you believe in, no matter what it is.
Right. And my take on it is basically just I don't know, because I haven't being in that situation would probably change. It might change my perception of it a little bit. Like I said, Kevin Hart's documentary changed me a lot on that though too. But I don't know. Yeah. What do y'all think? Do you think there's a way around it? Do you think it's going to lead to a civil war? Do you guys even agree on the premise of what we said cancel culture even is? Like, if you're behind it, I actually want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, if you're on the extreme left, I definitely want to hear your opinion. If you're on the extreme right, I definitely want to hear your opinion.
I want to hear everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Email us, obviously, skye.tday@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends about it, please, because that's the only way podcasts can grow.
Yes.
Also, you can...
So hit the notification bell.
On YouTube,
yes,
right.
Yes,
I forgot we're on YouTube. Yes. Also, I'm selling shirts now on Bonfire. I got to sell 50 in 20 days to help support us.
We have 19 days left.
So let's get it.
Basically, 18 days left.
I'll have the link in the show notes, and you guys can buy a dope t-shirt.
It'll be like 12 days left.
And there'll be a dope t-shirt like this one I have on right now.
Model it. Beautiful. Okay.
And that's that. So, as always, stay toasty.
Stay toasty, guys.